This week we got the first look at Absolute Bane, and my reaction was not positive, Aaron. In fact, I was talking to Jim from Weird Science. We were recording our Hot or Not podcast at the time, and we just immediately both started making fun of it because he's got such a tiny head.
He looks like a Goomba from that old school Super Mario Brothers movie. It's a bad design, but I said like in response, because I saw that Graham Nolan had something to say about it. He obviously, co-creator of Bane, created his visual look. Not excited about it, and I responded, but it seems like it's par for the course for big dumb Batman. It's just everything that you would expect. Hey, what is it about Bane? Well, he's big. Okay, let's make him big. Let's make him like weird looking. Let's make his head really small.
Yeah, it's like they made his body twice as big, but his head twice as small.
Yeah, and it's not a good first look either because it's not a great angle. It's not a very dramatic shot. Like the art is not impressive. It just looks bad. It's just a bad kind of like image all around. The composition isn't exciting, but I understand why people are less than whelmed.
Well, one of those people, I guess two of those people, are Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon themselves. First off, Graham Nolan, after posting Nick Dragotta's art of a truly massive Bane towering over an already large Batman, bluntly says, as the designer, co-creator of Bane, this is a terrible abomination. Point blank, telling the world what he really thinks of this creation's new look, mentioning how many have done excellent interpretations of Bane, but this is not one of them. Graham also states that Bane's disproportionate head is a problem for him, going so far as to say the Dark Knight Rises Bane was also a failure too. I think everyone is fixated on the teeny tiny head on the enormous body. That's what's really going to be hard to just ignore.
Well, it'll be cool when they pull the mask off and they reveal that he is a Goomba and they're doing a Super Mario crossover.
Couldn't it be one of those shrunken heads from like Beetlejuice?
Oh, it could be that, or one that you used to be able to buy from Trader Sam at the end of the Jungle Cruise ride before they decided that was offensive.
I don't blame Graham Nolan for at least having an opinion on this. He hasn't told anyone not to buy it or not to support it. He just says it looks stupid, and he's 100% right. It really does just look stupid.
It absolutely does, and he's got his right to his opinion, like anybody else. Probably more of a right to an opinion, since it's a character that he created with Chuck Dixon. So I'm all for it, and if it looks dumb, it's like I'm kind of over this idea of like, oh, if you work in the industry, you shouldn't be criticizing anybody else who works in the industry. No, we should want a better industry. We should want a better industry. We should want better creative. We should want better art. We should want the very best for the customer base. So I don't agree with that. I think that you can critique these things. Now, granted, sometimes we critique the person as well when they put themselves out there in really stupid ways, like your Tom Kings and whatever, put their fetishes on display. Like Joanne Starer with her fart comic. It's like and so it gets a little bit personal. But these things should be criticized. We should want a better, more successful industry, and the way to do that is to call out the stuff that's crap. And this looks like crap.
And this isn't the first time. Like, we've had a look at Absolute Joker, and the first time in the first issue, whatever. But the second time you see him in the last issue, he looks like Quado. He looks like he's got like baby heads growing out of his chest and stuff. I think that's weird for the sake of being weird, and this is just big for the sake of being big.
Yeah, it's just, and but like, let's make his head small because it's a good little juxtaposition, and who knows, maybe there's a story reason for it. I mean, who cares? It's big dumb Batman. It's just somebody commented to me and they said like, I don't think it's supposed to be dumb. I think that, and I said I'm not insulting it when I say big dumb Batman. I'm saying it's hilarious. It's like a Batman satire. It's like if
he literally punted a toddler off of a ship into the ocean in the last.
If you put Batman in the Judge Dredd universe, which is heavy satire, this is what you'd get. And he was like, well, I think that Scott Snyder's intention, I think he said he just wanted it to be Batman AF, and I'm like, oh, it's Batman AF. It definitely is. But it's you have to I'm just enjoying it on a different level. If I was taking it seriously in any way, I would hate it. But because it does play as a satire to me, I'm enjoying it because it's just big, dumb, over the top guy trying to be edgy, and it's kind of cringe and it's kind of funny.
And that's kind of how I'm enjoying it. And I think that's why the whole line itself is really discombobulated, because obviously Absolute Batman is the flagship book and it's got a tone. Hey, what if Batman was pretty fucking over the top, was blowing people up, melting them with acid, was kicking kids into the ocean, doing all kinds of stuff that Batman would never do? Then when you go over to like Absolute Superman or you go over to Absolute Wonder Woman, and they are fucking dead serious books that are trying to show like really darker, edgier versions of the heroes, and those suck because you can't have any fun with them.
And then you get The Flash, which is just a solidly written book. It's the one that it aside from Absolute Martian Manhunter, it was the one that I thought had the biggest chance of me just hating it. And it's actually that first issue solid. You know, it's just Lemire's just a solid storyteller, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll see where this goes. You know, I'll give this a shot. And so I have revised my opinion to say that obviously Absolute Martian Manhunter is going to be the drizzling shits of the line.
But what is the Absolute Universe is what I'm left questioning, because we have Absolute Batman, now we got this stupid Absolute Bane, then you got this take on Absolute Superman, you have this really strange take on Absolute Wonder Woman, and then you have a pretty straightforward new imagining of Flash, but it doesn't seem any darker really than anything else. And I don't think that they even know what it is.
The Absolute Universe is a cash grab. I mean, that's exactly what it is. That's how it was conceived, I'm sure, and that's how it's been executed. It's just a bunch of things that are designed to get you to buy it, hopefully for a few years before it just sputters out and disappears, and to try to breathe some life into a company that, in its main line at least, seems intent on killing itself.
Graham was not the only one to have words. Bane co-creator Chuck Dixon also took issue with the new, bigger Bane, quote tweeting Nolan's original post and stating, "Absolute shit, Bane. Look at his whittle head. Nobody in DC Comics history has worked with Bane more than Dixon and Nolan. The character of Bane first appeared in Batman Vengeance of Bane #1 back in January 1993, with Chuck Dixon and Doug Mensch being credited for creating the character alongside Nolan. Over the years, Bane has become one of Batman's most significant villains. In a lot of ways, you know, his physical better. You know, he's one person that can actually put Batman in physical harm, or, you know, really make you think that something bad could happen to him. And I think this does eventually kind of belittle the character, make him look stupid. And I don't think that's smart, because this is a compelling villain that is absolutely crucial to Batman right now."
Well, I mean, he's been mistreated before. He was in Secret Six and was mistreated there. I mean, at first he was okay, but, you know, that entire book by the end just became what it was. And then he's you know, he's kind of been bounced around in various interpretations. You know, he's been disrespected in that god awful Joel Schumacher movie. I also didn't like him in The Dark Knight Returns. You know, guy who talks to a crab. There's a lot of Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, thank you. I've like pretty much blocked that movie out of my head. Although it does have the best death scene ever, right? Where Talia al Ghul dies, just goes.
I thought Tom Hardy was fine as Bane. They've done some weird things with Bane in comic books lately. Do you remember when they made Bane's daughter like Vengeance?
No, I don't remember that. Oh God, why does
she just looks like a big beefy luchador from Lucha Underground?
Oh, why does everybody have a knockoff like Timu daughter? You know, they did it to Blade. They've done it to Bane. Comics has always had an inferiority complex, but now it just seems like it has a death wish. But again, we talk about it all the time. What is the point of giving DC or Marvel your best? I mean, you're probably better off giving your ideas to DC, because you get a better royalty rate if they get used somewhere. And, you know, I think you actually get overseas royalties when they use it somewhere. But, you know, what's really the point of creating anything really great for these companies? Because even if you give them a gift like Bane, you know, years down the line, it's just going to get destroyed by some shit writer that they hired, or some, you know, dumb redesign or some dumb reimagining. You know, what's the point of giving them your babies? It's like George Lucas. You know, you sold your children to white slavers.
And the weird thing is it's basically the exact same design as Graham Nolan, except he's bigger and the head is smaller.
And he's got some weird, like, it looks like he's got some weird thing going on with his torso. Like
that's like, it appears to be AI. At least that's what Grok thought it was. When you run it through Grok, It's like, yeah, this appears to be AI. It doesn't look like it's real art.
Wow. Grok dropping the dime on DC. It does look like AI. It looks like something that was designed in AI and then traced over.
Fans' responses to Nolan voicing his opinion on Absolute Bane were largely mixed on Twitter, with some questioning why there couldn't be more room for other artists to have creative license with the character. And he stated, "Many have and done excellent interpretations. Absolute Bane is not one of them." Later adding that there were several other versions of Bane that he did enjoy. Batman the Animated Series, Young Justice, and Arkham Asylum were among the top 3 portrayals of Bane to earn Nolan's seal of approval. So he's not just out there poo-pooing on everything. He is stating, yes, there are good interpretations of the characters that I didn't do. This is just happens to be, terrible. It's an abomination.
Yeah, I'm glad that he liked the Young Justice version because I always thought that was good. And they got Danny Trejo to voice him, which was kind of cool. It's like, you want some tacos? He's got a great taco spot out here in California. Really good tacos.
So is that what he's going to do with all these villains? Anytime he introduces a villain that we already know, it's just going to be bigger? And at some point, that's not interesting at all.
Bigger, weirder. I mean, it's just he's just running on edgelord mode. It's like, oh, how do I make things cool? How do I? Yeah, but
last time he ran on edgelord mode, he made Dark Knight's death metal, and it was atrocious.
Yeah, and this is atrocious, but it feels like a satire, so I'm having fun with it. Like I said, if I took it seriously for a moment, if I actually looked at it as a legit Batman book, I'd be completely turned off. But because it's in this weird pocket universe that doesn't really matter ultimately, I'm able to just look at it and go, this is dumb. It's like a bad movie.
Yeah, seeing Batman Goldberg spear Black Mass to a wall and then pick up a real bowling ball and start smashing his head in seemed a bit much. And then his little horns went down and he stabbed his eyes out with them. Oh my God,
that was so stupid. I was dying. It was so dumb. I want to make my little horns go down. My little bat ears. I'm going to stab you with my bat ears in the eyes because I'm edgy.
But that's a better idea than the dust cape of Krypton that Superman has right now.
Well, sure. Because it's not.
You gave the most powerful character in all of comic books a Deus Ex Machina. What the fuck? The dust cape could do anything.
I feel like the dust cape would have been cool on a completely different character, like maybe a villain, a Superman villain. Like that would have been an idea that could have worked. But on Superman, it's unnecessary.
I'm already tired of his little fucking AI sidekick soul.
Everything about Absolute Superman is unnecessary. Everything about Wonder Woman is unnecessary. Which is a shame because I love that design. I love the design of her costume. I'm not thrilled with the tattoos, but if it wasn't actually tatted into her skin, if it was just war paint that she puts on, I'd be like, okay, cool. She's got Amazon war paint.
It's not an actual tattoo. It's a spell to make her an arm, because she had to sell her arm or give it to somebody to make Steve Trevor alive again. I think.
No, I stopped reading after the first issue.
Well, you made the right choice. What do you think they're going to do with Doomsday? Is he just going to shrink down and be tiny, or are they going to make him as big as a fucking planet?
He'll be a mountain. He'll be what's the
Oh, that's a very Scott Snyder idea.
Yeah, he'll be
Doomsday
Brimstone.
Was a sentient mountain.
Yeah, Mount Doomsday. Have you ever seen Scott Snyder and J.J. Abrams in the same room? Are they the same person, just with different masks? Because it's they seem to just have the big idea. What if it was bigger? What if it was stronger? What if it was sharper?
What if Bane's head was proportionally larger to go along with his body? He would have just looked normal. He just would have.
No. See, I'm going against type now. His body's bigger, but something's got to be smaller. So it'll be his head. His head will be a little grape on top of this massive.
It's so weird. It's a terrible design, though.
I think that the absolute Batman design, when I first saw it, I was like, that is a terrible design. But then, you see Dan Mora draw it and you go, oh, maybe it's not bad. So, you just need to get Dan Mora to draw this Bane, and then maybe we'll all go, oh, I guess it's not that bad after all.
Man, I just hope he's eating toddlers or something as gummy bears or, Fuck it. I guess he couldn't fit him in his mouth because his head's the size of a toddler.
Well, you know how when you have a little tiny head, how you in your Bane, and you know how to eat a toddler. One bite at a time.
Maybe.
He's got to be doing something like that, right? Because it's not edgy enough. This is Scott Snyder. This is Scott Snyder trying to prove to his teenage sons that he's cool.
I agree with Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon that this is laughable in a not positive way.
Well, I just hope that he's running all of these decisions past Heather Ontos because, God forbid he have to, kowtow to her online again.
Well, I don't think he has to run creative decisions past Heather Ontos. I think he has to run his life decisions past Heather Ontos.
Oh, that's fair.
Whether or not he's allowed to skip out on a movement while he's on vacation with his children and wife.
Yeah, so stupid. I'm so tired of these inquisitions. So tired of the comic industry. I'm so glad to be independent. I'm so glad to never have to deal with any of these people.
Definitely want to hear from you guys. Did you think DC's new absolute Bane warranted the criticism of Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon? I certainly agree with it. I think they were dead on. If you like the full Geek Fix experience, this is just a portion of it. We do have another 2 hours to go talking about toys, movies, TV, comic books, all that kind of stuff. Hope to see you there very soon. There's a link in the video description. The Sparrow's Never Ending Christmas Tree tier is where you will find the Geek Fix in full.